G'day and welcome to Eurovision. It's Kyriakos here, and today we're chatting to a special guest who will very shortly be hitting the big stage at Eurovision 2023 in Liverpool, representing Belgium. It's Gustaph. G'day, and thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Very good.
Well, firstly, just want to say congratulations on being selected to represent Belgium. All of us will never forget your epic, genuine reaction to your win on
Yes.
in Eurosong.
Um,
But now you're heading to Eurovision. How does it feel representing Belgium?
I feel quite proud actually that I get to represent my country with the message of the song and with a message of diversity and inclusivity at the same time. And yeah, it feels nice to come from Belgium, a country where it's something that we fought hard for in Belgium to have the same rights as other people, and it's very nice to see that I get to represent this message for Belgium. That's actually the maybe the biggest advantage of doing this is that you see that other people now all over Europe and even the world and Australia everywhere identify with the song and know what it's about and can have a fun time bopping along to something that's about freedom. So that's maybe the biggest plus of representing Belgium at this moment.
Well, you co-wrote Because of You as a self-empowering positive anthem,
Yes.
which also celebrates like queer culture that we've seen from your performances and your music
Yes.
video as well.
Yes.
But what does the song personally mean to you?
Well, I wrote that song with Jawad Alul, who's also a queer artist, and we wanted to, as you said, wanted to write in the first place a self-empowering anthem. But at the same time, wanted to thank the people around us who brought us there. So, and I think in queer culture, that usually tends to be people who come from the same perspective as you. And we kind of take care of each other, which is a beautiful thing in our community. But at the same time, I do believe the you in Because of You is universal and that it speaks to everyone and that it can be about anyone that represents someone that helped you along the way.
Now,
Yeah.
you've recently been to Spain. I see you've returned from the Eurovision pre-parties in Spain.
Yes.
How's experience been like performing and meeting the Eurovision fandom?
It was quite amazing, I have to say, because I'm not used to this kind of attention, and it is nice to have this kind of attention. I won't lie, but it's something I'm just not used to. But that's why meaning you arrive somewhere from from the plane going to the hotel, and people are waiting outside, and they talk to you about the song. That's really incredible to me, and I appreciate that very much. It's something I really enjoy and really want to enjoy in these moments. And it's just nice to talk to people, even the interviewers and also the people there. Everyone is really a fan of Eurovision as a concept and as a great yearly contest that brings everyone together. So it's really nice to talk to people like that. I'm a fan myself, so
Yeah.
it's really great to hang out with people who love the same things that you love.
Yeah, I've seen in interviews that you are a big fan, and you previously mentioned that you're fangirling Loreen. Did you
Yes.
get to meet her?
I did. I actually did. And I completely fangirled out, but she was lovely. She was lovely because I did, I did go into that. And when you sang Eurovision, when you did, like, we went into like a rant, and she saw, oh, this poor guy is going off. So she just gave me a little hug. And we talked about, she liked my bags. We talked about fashion for a while. So yeah, it was a lovely moment. It was a lovely moment.
Well, talking about fashion, you always have like very good looks. Like you always look fabulous, and you're always wearing great outfits. I know you've been working closely with the Belgian fashion designer Walter Van Beirendonck. He's
Yes,
been around
very
since
good.
the '80s, and I know he's done shows in Melbourne before as well.
Yes,
Um, and I noticed you've also been wearing his hats with his, I think it was like his logo, or his little signature
yes, yes,
um,
yes, yes.
little thing that he's got.
Yes,
Um,
little man figure.
so now I know he's worked on your outfit for the national final, and I believe he's working on your Eurovision outfit. What's it been like working with Walter?
Amazing, because I'm very proud to be a Belgian artist that is represented by a Belgian fashion icon. As you said, he was part of the Antwerp Six, which was like Dries van Noten, and the Meulenmeester, a lot of really legendary people. He still is doing his own thing. He's still creating collections every season, and I already lucked out by being able to wear one of his pieces for my national final. And we had a meeting shortly after I won the national final, and he was very excited, and he was on board to create my outfit. And the great thing is, we could go back into his archives and study some of the things that he has done over the years. So it kind of becomes an ode to his work as well at the same time. So yeah, it's been wonderful, and I know he's not the kind to easily collaborate on these kind of things. So I'm very honored that he really wanted to do that with me.
Well, it sounds like a very exciting collaboration, which I believe would be under a lot of secrecy. But I just want to ask you about the outfit. If you were to describe it in one word without revealing anything, what would you how would you describe it?
Streamlined.
Streamline. Very cryptic.
Well, you want one word.
Well as you're getting well known for your fashion, but also the headwear that you've been wearing. It seems like you must have a bit of a hat collection. Like, do you know how many
Yes.
you own, and do you have a favorite hat that you love to wear?
Yeah, I think we're getting close to like 40, 50 hats at this
All right.
point.
Yep.
I think it really started for me like about maybe 12 years ago where I started writing because I was touring a lot and I had, when you come off a plane, you have a bad hair day, a hat is the perfect tool for you to quickly go on stage and look fabulous. So that became quickly an obsession. And my favorite hat is for some, I mean, I have a lot of favorite hats, but I think I bought when we were touring with Hurricane Love Affair, we were playing in Bilbao, Spain. And I went to this really cute, because I try to go to hat shops and I love the tradition of hat making. So I went to this really old fashioned hat shop with I think an old man, probably in his 70s, was still making hats there. And I bought a cordobés, which is like the typical Spanish hat with a big brim. And yeah, it's just for some reason because it really feels like that was a piece of history that was given to me because he was really doing this for decades and he made that hat all by himself in his hat shop. And that's something that I just still feel very emotional about because it was just a beautiful, yeah, it was a beautiful moment in my life and a beautiful hat to wear.
Now, I know you work very closely with your husband, who's also a very creative person. He's
Yes.
worked on your performances before. He even directed your amazing music video for Because of You,
Oh,
which suits that 90s house feel of the song, which is
yes.
so perfect. What's it
Oh.
like combining your creative minds with your Eurovision experience? And what does he think of the whole experience so far himself?
Yeah, first off, it's great. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to work with my husband and my best friends are on stage with me. So, you know, that's really a big advantage when it comes to being lucky. But he's great. We've been working together for about I think 10 years now. Because he did one of my photo shoots 10 years ago, and it was just, yeah. There's something about just his style that I really understand, and it's vice versa. So we don't need a lot of words to explain visions, and we do create mood boards for everything we
Oh,
do,
yeah.
but we end up giving the same like when we create them when we do a little research by ourselves we end up a lot with the same things
All right.
because we just have a similar kind of mind and for him it's great too. I mean I'm very proud of my husband that people are like you are saying that they like the video, that he's also being seen as someone who's a creative director who is also a video director and a photographer. And I think it's also nice to see that the consistency that I've created with my visuals and with how I look at my photographs are also because I'm working with him, because he takes all my pictures. He's always by my side. So I have someone who understands my vision right by me. And I think that's a big advantage. It makes the whole thing consistent. And I'm just very proud of him and the work he's done. And I can't wait for him to work even more. Yeah.
That's so lovely. Perfect match as well. Like you're in sync together. That's really good.
Yeah.
Now, you've been part of the Belgium Eurovision team as a vocal coach before and a backing vocalist. So you've been to Eurovision before. So I expect you've already been through some of that pressure of being part of the team and like trying to do well. But how does it feel being on the flip side and having the spotlight on you?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question because it is, of course, different. Because when you're part of a delegation, I love being part of a delegation. I think I would even love to do that even after this is done, because it's just lovely to be a team. And I think in our being meaning like a full-on team, like of course when you're a musician, you're a team, and you're in a band or whatever. But this is really a team of like proper delegation leaders, someone for makeup, someone for styling, someone for PR, and we all have to defend the same goal, and we all have to be proud of what we're doing and stick together because it's all about getting the best result. And I find that very, very empowering. And so the great thing about that is I already had that reference going twice as a backing vocalist to understand the dynamic of what all that stuff means. So what the great thing is now, because I had that experience, I do think it gives me a bit of an advantage in how to delegate certain things, and I got to create a team around me that I really trusted, because I knew that that was as really in essence, because it's gonna be it's already a pressure cooker, but those 2 weeks are gonna be like the craziest pressure cooker I probably will ever be under. So that's something I wanted to say, and also it is lovely to do that because now I really get to create a vision that I want, find the people who will make that vision come true for me. And the great thing about that is then by I think having the right team, creating, like we're going through all the options of what is possible. It will make me perform better, I believe, because at least then when I'm on stage, I will have known I've done everything I could have possibly done to make the vision work. And that's something I haven't experienced before, and that is a lovely feeling, I have to say.
Well, let's talk about Liverpool. As you said before, you're a fan of Eurovision, but you've also had some experiences as well before. So you understand how the contest works. You know that there's endless rehearsals, interviews. It's very busy 2 weeks. But what are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, a lot. But I think honestly, maybe it's a cliche, but I'll have to say it the way I feel it is I'm looking forward to performing.
Yeah.
And the closer I get, the more I become. I won't say I'm calm, but I get more. I get more focused on what's about to happen, and I do think I'm excited to see how I will feel, what's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to the most. And I'm hoping we'll have some because I have to really be careful with the voice and with all that kind of stuff. But I do hope because my three backing vocalists are my three best friends, and my husband is there, so I do hope we get some nice downtime without indulging too much in the Liverpool nightlife because that could be tricky. But I'm looking forward to that. Those two things.
Now, when it comes to your performance at Liverpool, you've said in previous interviews that your staging will have a lot of dynamics, and I think you're being very cryptic.
Again.
So obviously you can't reveal much, but what do you hope people take away from your Eurovision performance?
I hope that people understand or will connect to the message of the song. And I also hope because we will maintain the ideas of queer culture. I'll still have the visuals with drag culture and ballroom culture. So I'm hoping that people will maybe get to know something that they may not have seen before, and feel good about what they've seen. Meaning that it's really it's going to be a joyful performance celebrating diversity, and I do hope people will take away the idea of self-empowerment and of being proud of who you are and thanking the people around you. And yeah, I just want people to my thing is I hope people say that was a great performance and that I will stick out and that people remember it because of that.
Now, I know you've listened to all the Eurovision 2023 songs. You've mentioned that previously in other videos I've seen. And which is your go-to song? Like, which one do you have on repeat the most?
There are a lot, but I said it before and I'll say it again. I think with me something clicked gutturally with Évidemment by Lazara.
Yep.
It's just something that I put on a lot and I love a lot. Same goes for a May Muller, the British. That was coming all of a sudden because I was on shuffle in the gym, as you do.
Yeah.
And that song really worked in the gym, which is always a good sign because those songs are the ones that it makes you work harder because they're so almost primitive, like working for you in that sense. So I think that's a great one. I also, Ali, I have to say, I love this is the great thing about Eurovision, and it was very apparent to me with the Eurovision parties is, yes, I have my favorites, but I'm not willing to really say hands down that's it, because there's going to be a time when we have to see the staging and we have to see the performance, and there are certain artists that already made me really love the song even more. Mimi Cat from Portugal, for example, is someone who live blows you away, and I like the song, to be very clear, but now I love the song because of her performance. So I'm also still kind of waiting for that moment to happen, because that's how it is every year, some songs you're like, it's elevated, some songs like, ooh, I didn't expect this. It's going to be interesting to see how that will pan out for the semifinals.
What do you think of Promise by Voyager? And did you get to see them?
Oh my God, they are so lovely. They are so, and they're just good fun, and they get it. Yeah, we hung out. I love the song. I think the guy's voice is incredible. The lead singer, it's super catchy. Whoa, whoa. It's just super catchy. All of Madrid was singing along to that part of the song. But yeah, it's just yeah, I want to say it right because like I'm assuming I know Australian culture and I really don't. I was only there once in my life, but it's a bit for me like British culture where there's this kind of little self-deprecating character in the humor, which I love. And I just remember we were standing there waiting for something to happen, and we just started chit-chatting, and it was just immediately fun with all of them. The drummer is hilarious. I forgot his name now,
Yeah,
but he's
Ash. Yeah, Ashley.
Ash.
Ash.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, seriously, he's incredibly funny, and we just clicked immediately. So, and the same thing when I say they get it, these guys have been working very hard. They're big in their scene, in the prog metal scene, and they know what they're doing this for, and it makes them all the more confident, I think, as performers. And that's what I really respect about them. They're just really good at what they do. This is a great opportunity for them, but they will work regardless what happens at Eurovision. And that's to me true artistry, and that's what I see when I see them. And but they will do very well. I'm very sure of that.
Now you kind of answered my next question. I was going to
Oh,
ask you, have you been to Australia before? Like, and where have you been?
yes, I've been to. When I was touring for There's a Love Affair, a band I was a part of for a couple of
Yep.
years.
Yep.
And actually, my first tour with them was in Australia, and I
All
think
right.
it was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was called Future Music Festival. Is that
Okay.
right?
Yep. Yep. That rings a bell.
which
Yep. Yep.
which was which was like an electronic dance festival
Yep.
that kind of toured all over Australia. So I had a quick tour of Australia, meaning I think we did Adelaide, Brisbane,
Yep.
Sydney, Australia, and there was one more that I
Melbourne,
forgot now.
maybe Melbourne or
Yeah, Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth.
Perth. Yep. Oh,
Yes.
you did the whole country. That's a pretty good way of seeing the country
Yeah,
very
yeah,
quickly.
yeah, and I had a lot of fun. And we did have, I think we had a couple of days off in Sydney, so that was lovely to kind of
Oh, good.
explore the city. It's a beautiful city. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Well, lastly, if you could only take three things with you to Liverpool, what three things would you take?
My husband, yeah, that's the first thing I think of.
Yep.
Um, my clothes and my singers.
Yep.
That's
That's all you
kind of
need.
essential, I
Yep.
think, to perform, yeah.
Yep. Well, it's an absolute honor to speak to you, Gustaph. We cannot wait to see what you have in store for Belgium in Liverpool this year. And thank you so much for speaking to us at Aussie Vision.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the interview. It was lovely. Thank you.